When Atomic Habits was released, it quietly began doing something rare in the world of self-improvement books. It did not rely on hype, radical transformation stories, or overnight success myths. Instead, it spread through word of mouth among athletes, executives, educators, and everyday readers who all reported the same outcome. Their lives felt more structured, more intentional, and less exhausting. James Clear himself became known not as a motivational speaker, but as a thinker who could explain why people fail at change even when they are genuinely motivated. At its core, this book solves a frustrating and universal problem. Most people know what they should do, but they struggle to do it consistently. They set goals, feel inspired for a short period, and then fall back into old patterns. This book promises something more realistic and more powerful. It teaches how to build systems that make progress inevitable, even on days when motivation is low. The foundational principle. The core idea of Atomic Habits is simple, but its implications are profound. Tiny changes, when repeated consistently, compound into remarkable results over time. James Clear uses the word atomic, not to suggest something dramatic, but to emphasize scale. Atomic habits are small, almost unnoticeable actions that serve as the building blocks of larger outcomes. Most people believe success is the result of massive effort or sudden breakthroughs, but this book reframes success as the outcome of daily systems. James explains that habits are not about achieving goals, but about becoming a certain type of person. When you focus only on goals, you treat success as a moment in time. And when you focus on systems, you treat success as a lifestyle. This principle also explains why progress often feels invisible in the beginning. Just like compound interest, the effects of small habits are delayed. Results seem flat early on, and many people quit during this phase. The book teaches that the gap between effort and reward is normal, and that learning to stay consistent during this quiet phase is what separates lasting change from temporary enthusiasm. Key lessons and applications. Lesson 1. Identity shapes behavior. One of the most important ideas in Atomic Habits is that lasting change starts with identity, not outcomes. Most habit advice focuses on what you want to achieve, such as losing weight or becoming productive. James Clear argues that this approach misses the deeper driver of behavior. Your habits are a reflection of who you believe you are. Every action you take is like a vote for the type of person you are becoming. When you write one page, you reinforce the identity of a writer. When you exercise for 10 minutes, you reinforce the identity of someone who values health. Over time, these votes accumulate, and your self-image begins to shift naturally. To apply this today, instead of asking what you want to achieve, ask who you want to become. Choose one identity that matters to you, such as being disciplined, reliable, or curious. Then choose the smallest habit that supports that identity. The goal is not intensity, but consistency. When habits align with identity, willpower becomes less necessary because actions feel like expressions of who you already are. Lesson 2. The 4 laws of behavior change. James breaks habit formation into a practical framework called the 4 laws of behavior change. These laws explain why habits stick or fail. A habit must be obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. When a habit lacks even one of these elements, it becomes fragile. Being obvious means the habit is visible and clearly triggered. Many habits fail simply because people forget to act. Being attractive means the habit feels rewarding in the moment, not just in the future. Being easy means reducing friction, so the habit requires minimal effort. And being satisfying means the brain receives immediate feedback that reinforces repetition. To apply this, take one habit you struggle with and redesign it using these laws. Make it obvious by tying it to an existing routine. Make it attractive by pairing it with something enjoyable. Make it easy by reducing steps or lowering expectations. And make it satisfying by tracking progress or rewarding completion. Small design changes often outperform sheer discipline. Lesson 3. Environment beats motivation. One of the most practical insights in the book is that behavior is heavily shaped by environment. People often blame themselves for lacking discipline, when in reality they are fighting environments designed for distraction. James emphasizes that the most effective way to change behavior is to change what surrounds you. Your environment constantly sends cues that influence decisions without conscious thought. If unhealthy food is visible, you are more likely to eat it. If your phone is within reach, you are more likely to check it. High performers do not rely on heroic willpower. They build environments that make good choices easier and bad choices harder. To practice this, look at your surroundings and identify one small adjustment. Place healthy options where they are visible. Remove distractions from your workspace. Prepare tools in advance, so starting a habit requires less effort. When the environment supports your goals, consistency becomes the default rather than the struggle. Lesson 4. Never miss twice. James Clear acknowledges that perfection is unrealistic. Everyone slips, skips, and falls off track at times. The real danger is not missing once, but allowing one miss to turn into a new pattern. The rule is simple: never miss twice. This mindset removes guilt and focuses attention on recovery. Missing one workout does not ruin progress, but missing too often begins a downward spiral. By committing to immediate correction rather than self-criticism, habits regain momentum quickly. To apply this, when a habit breaks, shift your focus from failure to recovery. Make your next action smaller if needed, but show up again. Consistency is not about flawless execution. It is about returning to the path before small lapses become long-term abandonment. Synthesis and critique. Atomic Habits resonates strongly with modern life because it acknowledges cognitive overload, digital distraction, and limited attention. Rather than asking people to become stronger, it asks them to become smarter about design. This approach aligns closely with behavioral psychology, Stoic philosophy, and even ancient wisdom traditions that emphasize daily practice over dramatic transformation. However, the book is sometimes misunderstood as promoting minimal effort. The message is not that effort does not matter, but that effort should be applied strategically. Small habits are not an excuse for avoidance. They are an entry point that lowers resistance and builds trust with yourself. And over time, these habits naturally scale. Another caveat is patience. The compounding effect requires time, and readers who expect immediate visible results may feel underwhelmed early on. This is not a flaw in the system, but a reflection of how growth works in reality. The book rewards readers who are willing to commit to process rather than chasing quick wins. My takeaway from the book: the most valuable lesson from Atomic Habits is that you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Change does not require a new personality or extraordinary discipline. It requires small, repeatable actions that align with the person you want to become. If you take one action today, let it be this. Choose one identity you want to reinforce and perform one small habit that supports it. Do not aim for transformation, aim for repetition. Progress will follow quietly, then suddenly. If this breakdown helped clarify the ideas, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Share your thoughts, reflect on one habit you plan to build, and continue exploring how small changes create extraordinary outcomes over time.